Hi, what's going on, everybody? Today's video I'm gonna be working on the Stator on this 1999 Honda Shadow, my buddies. So essentially he bought a new battery. The correct level of the acid wasn't right, which could be another reason why that it wasn't really charging properly. But first things first is always check your battery, check your connections, make sure it's fully charged, you got no dead cells, everything was good. And once you got that figured out, if you're still having problems, then it could be the stator or your rectifier, which would be back here underneath. So I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna take this bike back to the shed and put it up on the lift on the little jack. And I'm gonna start by removing this cover. To remove this cover, there's gonna be like a little clip right here to remove it. As you can see, it's right there. You're gonna pop that out, and it should come off apart. There's gonna be a washer. Don't lose that washer. And also you may have to remove this little clamp, move it out of the way. And to remove this, there's gonna be a nut down underneath here. I believe it's a 10 millimeter. And if you have that laying around the shop, and try not to lose that, because you know how 10 mils go. But essentially, once you got that and this off, it should pop off easily with no other bolts or anything to take off. And we'll start the video. So now I got the oil drained out. Right there will be oil drain plug, where I was saying, and just comes right out. And then your oil filter will be right here, right there. And I have everything draining right now. And so yeah, essentially we get down under here. Here we go. So yeah, there right here is your where your oil filter goes, and right here will be your rectifier. So I'll be explaining this more once I take that cover apart. But essentially, your rectifier transforms AC current to DC current to power your bike, so like charge your battery, charge up your lights, all that good stuff, But I'll be getting into it once I take that apart. Alright, so the next thing you're gonna do is lube up your oil filter. So basically what I do, it's a good practice, is you get a little bit of oil over here in your fingers to lube up the O-ring right here. Basically, this is what you're gonna do: lube up the O-ring, lube up the threads too. And then what I like to do is I like to pour a little bit of oil in here, just like that. Get the filter started. Maybe even like move it around a bit. Get some more oil and make sure the O-ring is really up. Excuse me, really lubed up good. And basically move the oil inside the filter around, so that way it can get the filter started, And that's basically it for starting off your oil filter. Alright, so the next thing I'm gonna do now is install the filter. Basically just like that. And just like with any other filter, you don't want to make it too tight. Just hand tight, if anything. Just like that. And it should be good to go. And also I installed the drain plug back. Again, also don't over tighten it, just enough. You can also add Teflon tape or thread locker, whatever you want to do. Also helps it seal. It's not needed, but it's a good option to have, which in this case I did add a little bit of Loctite sealing in there. So the next thing I did was I removed this plate right here, which was 4 bolts. So you're gonna see some bearings here. Basically you want to inspect them to see if they're still rotating smoothly. None of them are broken or burnt or anything like that. Another thing you're gonna see here is you're gonna see 2 gears here. You can find this gear that came off with the plate itself, and also this gear right here. So basically you're gonna want to remove these. This one looks like from the starter. So basically I believe that this is your starter gear that comes out, because here's your starter. right there, and I believe this one is the one that, you know, the engine, you know, it basically turns it over and starts it. So I was inspecting these gears right here, and I don't really see a timing point, so I don't know if that's gonna like have to go a certain way or timed a certain way. I'm not exactly sure on that, but you know, I'm definitely gonna look into it to see if it needs to be timed or not. But essentially, gonna find these two gears here, which, you know, once you remove this plate here, you're gonna expose one bolt right here, which will then, you know, be able to remove this whole base right here. Another thing that I'm gonna remove is this clutch right here. This cable basically, excuse me, runs up to the clutch and engages and disengages. So it's gonna be 3 bolts right here. Essentially, when you pull that out, you're gonna see your O-ring, and essentially this is like your little you said like push rod or something that, you know, engages it and disengages your clutch essentially. So yeah, so I removed this one. It's not absolutely necessary, but you know, it just cleans it up a bit more and leaves a bit more you know, won't be as bulky when I pull this whole plate off. Alright, so next step you want to do is clean off all this gasket right here. Just to clean it off with some parts cleaner, along with something to scrape it with. So you don't want to scrape it on here. Careful not to scratch it up or like score it, you know, so they can have a nice even flat clean mating surface with the gasket. And also clean around here, clean around this area in case of, you know, like for example right here, you know, clean this up, clean all the gasket, remaining gasket, and you want it nice and clean. Alright, so the new stator has just came in. You can see here in the color of the coils compared to the old one, these are all burnt. One thing I do want to point out compared to the new one and the old one is that, see how these right here come straight out and go connected to the coils, to the wiring, right? Whereas this one, they don't really come out. You see it? They don't really come out, so I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but you could tell, you know, just the color of it, like the difference. This is all burnt out, black, build up, you know, not good stuff, whereas this one's all nice and new, of course, right? So I was going to compare the two, the old versus the new one. I'm about to slap it on and go from there. Alright, so I've installed the stator. I just set it down in place. So far I've only tightened this bolt to hold the wiring in place. This is basically what I did for the little I don't know how you call it, these little seals here. And I'm also going to be adding some thread locker onto these bolts. You know, it's not absolutely necessary because, you know, I'm not a Harley, so, you know, Harleys, you know, if you were working Harley before, you know that this is basically your best friend when it comes to just about everything. So you are always going to be Loctiting these when working on the Harleys, but I'm just adding these I'm just adding this Loctite, this thread locker, just for an added measure. One thing I want to point out is that this little push rod thing that comes out from your clutch, you want to reinstall it the same way. You want to reinstall it the same way because once you pull it out, you're going to see here, it goes a certain way. I'm going to lube up this one, the rod. I'm going to push it back in. I just installed this little clutch mechanism. Make sure once you put reinstall the push rod back in, gonna make sure you know, relatch it back onto the cable and pull your clutch lever. Make sure it's engaging. Make sure it's engaging and working properly before, you know, you go into depth. And just making sure, you know, double checking, triple checking everything is good, especially with the clutch, you know. Alright, so I just installed the new rectifier back in the original place, and I've also routed it the same exact way how I removed it. And the connections up here, you want to make sure you connect it back how it was, you know, such as yellow to yellow, red to red, and green to green. Once you got that down. You're pretty much done. Before you go for a test ride, you want to make sure your oil is good. Your dipstick is going to be here. My recommendation when doing any kind of oil change is doing it little by little, such as, you know, you can be putting oil in here, you put your funnel or straight up like that if you want. I'd say, you know, put a quart in, 2 quarts in, and then maybe a little after there, just, you know, go off your dipstick. Manual could say something different, but I always like to go off of the dipstick, as it is more accurate and more precise, I guess you could say. So once you come back from your test ride, you also want to check the oil level, see if it's still at a good state. If it needs oil, add it. All right, guys, so on this side, use your battery, obviously. But essentially, my buddy here has a whole new complete charging system, new stator, rectifier, battery. So everything is golden right now. It's perfect. Again, same as the oil, I lost the footage of me reading the volt readings. And again, guys, if you have a voltmeter, perfect. If you don't, I mean, just write it and see what happens. I guess I could say. But if you have a voltmeter, I really recommend it also for your toolbox. So essentially what you want to do is plug it into the, you know, to the terminals and rev it up a bit, about quarter, half throttle, and see if it goes up. If it goes up about a volt and a half, it's perfect. It's charging, it's going good. And so, yeah, guys, once you do that, you should be good to go. As always, guys, thank you for watching. And I also want to let you guys know about this same exact job. This project is also, I'm currently doing that on my 09 Softail Deluxe. If you're familiar with my channel, you see that's the bike that's, you know, I record with. I'm currently doing the same exact job on my bike. It's a bit more difficult. You got your whole big primary here, your oil tank. It's a bigger job. I'm currently editing that and working on my bike. So keep on the lookout in the future for it. I'm not exactly sure when I'll be posting it, but I just know it'll be sometime soon. But yeah, guys, I guess that's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching, and ride safe, everyone.